So today I've got a massive piece of mahogany obsidian. I actually won this in a competition down in Florida not too long ago in Silver Springs. I actually came second place. You know, not as good as you guys think I am. But yeah, I won this humongous tab of mahogany obsidian. It's kind of dry on this side. I spilled some water on it so you could actually see the color. But I don't know how long this is. I mean, it's pretty long. I'm a 6'2" guy, so this thing is crazy. Now, I don't like working tabs, or no, let me rephrase that. I don't like working slabs. I don't like working slabs, but this one looks to be a challenge, and it looks to be thick enough where we can do some percussion. So here we go. Let's see what we can make off of this thing. This may be a multiple parter. We'll just kind of have to see. Now this is Obsidian rock. Looks a little bit drier than some of the other stuff I've seen. But it is volcanic glass. And it comes in a lot of different varieties. Not just black, but also in kind of the silver-ish that I showed in a previous video. Also in this kind of mahogany color. And so what I want to do to start out is kind of get rid of all my big thick edges here. And then just kind of get a feel for how this stone reacts. Because I usually work much more difficult stone. And this is literal glass. So it's going to be much different than kind of my normal run-of-the-mill stuff. So hopefully this is a treat for you guys. And hopefully you can hear my voice over the loud ringing. Now, doing it this way is like somewhat cheating in my mind, you know, as someone who has always done it via a spall. And so I don't imagine that I'm gonna keep doing it like this. Now, I don't think it's cheating when other people do it. I mean, I'm not gonna say that. Everybody has their styles of flint knapping, but you can also find tabs like this out of Texas chert and other materials that occur naturally. So it's not really that, but I don't know. Just the way it's slabbed off, it just kind of. Needless to say, we're going to put some convexity in it, and we're going to make it look like it's not a slab point, but we are going to make it thin as we can get it. So definitely going to go for a blade of some kind. Who would have thought? Who would have guessed it? And it's already working really well. We've got some good platforms, or had some right here towards the tip. So just kind of zigzagging the edge. Kind of being a little more favorable to this backside here. Pushing a little more in on it than the other. Marshall, back over here. Marshall likes to get all in my rocks and mess things up sometimes. Okay. Now, I grant it, this is kind of the boring part, but literally all I'm trying trying to do is get rid of this edge. I don't want it. I hate it. Get it gone. Okay, so we about got rid of the edge on this side, except for here. So just kind of zigzagging the edge. All right, so there's my first kind of inkling and reminder that this is glass, folks. Now, the blade is not in shambles because this can be our base and that can be our tip. So certainly all is not lost. If anything, this is going to save me some time having to draw it in. Now notice I'm not using as big of a bopper as I typically would, because it's just not needed for something like this. May end up using it here in the future, but just not needed at this point. Now to kind of test it out, I am going to go a little bit higher on this strike. Okay. So I kind of see what's happening with some of this stuff. Marshall, go late. All right. So kind of drawing our shape in there. Now this side hasn't really been touched. And now one thing I never played growing up was Minecraft, but I hear that there's something special about Obsidian in Minecraft. I don't know if they have this fancy Obsidian there, but let me know down in the comments if you play Obsidian and if this sword would help you out on any of your trials. Really not much convexity. I kind of thought about go ahead and whiffing some big flakes, but just don't have the room. Now, this is another way of kind of sort of getting rid of the edge. And that's just chipping down on one side, assuming it's not a complete 90-degree angle and you have a little bit of liberty. Certainly not a bad way to do it. And that gets you natural convexity rather than it being super flat. What could I make? I guess just a normal blade would suffice, but I kind of want to do something fancy too. I feel like a normal blade is just kind of bland, but we'll see. Go from the base here. Some of you are probably screaming at me. Aha, be careful. Nah, it'll be a-okay. And then because we didn't do zigzag on this side, we're just gonna come back through and do a more like a straight down strike. Still not thinning it out. But basically taking the zigzag edge of this side and making it straighter, essentially is what this does. And don't want to overdo the tip up here. Just kind of want to let it know I'm there, you know? Let it know I'm showing it a little bit of attention. Okay. Now I can very easily strike across the face there. Not super worried about it. On this face, I kind of want to get a little bit more convexity. We could probably start shooting at least from a couple of these on this side. Yep. So we just get a little platform there. And just kind of strike. This isn't the final blow across, so doesn't have to get all the way. Just as long as you're getting some convexity in the piece. Same thing here, really not much to go off of. So just kind of inching our way into the middle, getting kind of a round over feel to it. And eventually this whole thing will be flaked across where there'll be no more of this kind of dusty area. Dusty, of course, because I hadn't worked on it. Alright, probably wouldn't hurt to go ahead and get our edges a little more closely aligned. Alright, something kind of like that. Alright, now maybe one more strike to take down here would be a-okay. And we'll just kind of flip it over. Looks like we need to draw more from this side anyways because of how tight knit this is. We can get rid of a lot of this in here. So what I want to do is just make sure this edge is pretty much the same going all the way down. Or at least close, you know. At least somewhat close. Now I'm noticing there's really not much of any flaking into the material down through here. So I'll give it a little bit there just so it has some room to run. And there we go. Okay. Now, take what we have here, kind of get us a starting point. Again, don't want to fool with this quite yet. And once we get a nice starting point, and we have enough convexity to work with, we then can start taking off some flakes. And we want to make sure those flakes are going straight across and not diagonal, if we can. If we can help it. We've got fairly good convexity here. Just want to isolate a little more. And shoot across. I always like these really wide percussion scars. The really wide ones instead of the really thin, long ones. That's what you see on a lot of points down here in the Deep South. Or at least my area of the Deep South. There's a lot of places that call themselves the South. Really. Yeah. Isolate it just a little more. I mean, we might as well. We're trying to make it good, right? Unfortunately, there's not much room to run, so it might just go wide rather than long, but actually did really well. So again, we could probably set one up here. And isolate it on the back side so that it releases a little bit easier. And again, just not much convexity to work with, but if we hit high up enough and follow the ridge, you know, good things happen. So probably want to shoot from here. So this will just be isolation stuff. Really, I can probably go there too. And allow this one. And it'll probably widen out to catch what we got up here. So it should be A-okay, I think. Uh-oh, there we go. Alright, slight bit of isolation. Make sure we abrade it enough. Not overly so, I mean it is obsidian. Wouldn't want to over abrade and just make it so dense that when you hit it, it just doesn't do anything. You definitely want it to do something. Definitely. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, so I'm noticing that our ridge is kind of falling out. And usually that's kind of a sign to kind of switch things up. And there are a couple ways to do that. You start from the other edge, or you can start working from the other side. And I think maybe that's what we'll start to do. Let's kind of work from this side. Now that I'm looking at it, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So very similar to what we did on the back face, I want to try to get everything kind of in a line. And once we get it in a line, we can then kind of go from there, with the exception to maybe this strike here, which looks like it's kind of a rebel. Yeah, there we go. Alright. So just wanting to kind of meet this over here. Nothing too fancy. This here. All right. Don't really have much to go off of, but since it's the tip, we'll have plenty of opportunities to clean that off. So no worries there. That removed pretty cleanly. And that removed pretty cleanly, and already we're meeting our flakes, which is what we set out to do because we kind of stalled out a little earlier. Kind of embarrassing. So we're fixing our mistake. If you want to call it a mistake. And these flakes are just running together. And really, you do this on this side, you do it on the other, sharpen the edge, and you're done. It's really that simple, unless you put some hinges in your point. And that's where you better be careful. Because you'll have to go over it again. And possibly again. And then again. It's not fun. So we want to try to get this right on the first time. Now, I've never worked Obsidian like this. This is my first time. So, you know, don't judge me if I do things a little differently than you do. Or at least too bad. I'm always open to comments. To say, hey, this would be better. Hey, this would be better. Now, this is an interesting one here. It's kind of got convexity, but kind of doesn't at the same time. But it did well. We did good. Isolate. Will it shoot across? It will, kinda, but now I'm starting to see where it's doing the same thing. And I gotta be very careful. Next few decisions. So, do a little better job isolating this one. Just kind of shoot the platform back up a little bit. And we caught it. It did go up there, but I'm not worried about that. Not worried about it at all. Huh. Now this is where it gets a little interesting. Because it's got a ridge to follow. See, okay, so even with some good abrading, it did kind of hinge there. So we got to be a little careful. We got to figure out what we're going to do. I think what I need to do is start shooting a diagonal flake up towards that area there and hope for the best. It felt good, and it did good. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. Can't complain. Can't do it. Yep. Not an ideal strike there, but you know, we made something happen. We made something happen. That's right. Yep. Okay, now we come back to this side. We figure out what is next. I kind of like this one here. And again, we're getting to a real tricky area where it's got a lot of ground to cover. I just don't know. This bopper won't have the oomph, but maybe this bopper will. Yeah, it felt like it. Yes, sir. It did. It sure did. We take those. We take those. Yep, felt good. A lot of flint knapping is feel too. You know, you can generally tell, you know, upon striking, you know, oh, that was a good one, or, ooh, that one wasn't too good. You know, you just have a good feeling. Primarily because of how you're supporting the piece. You're holding the piece in a way where it's not going to break very easily. And, sorry, just looking over the piece here. And so you can kind of feel, sorry my mind went everywhere. You can just kind of feel whether, oh yeah, that did well, or, oh, that hinged out really bad. Like for instance, that strike wasn't amazing. Yeah, I'll get that later. All right. What do we think? All right. This side is completely done, with exception of this. Oopsies. There we go. Hey, that's fine. Oh no. Okay, well, I'm gonna stop. Yep, I'm just gonna stop. Yep, I'm gonna stop right there. And if you want to see a part 2, then maybe in part 2 I'll do better about not just breaking off things like this. Now I can make this into a drill or something, so I'm not hurt. But yeah, we're gonna stop there before I ruin it any further. And yeah, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. And see you on the next one. Peace.